Hey everybody, it's Caesar here with the Local Service Podcast, and today we have a list of tools that I would recommend using not only for marketing purposes, but also they have other purposes that you can amend to other things. So like you can use them for project management, you can use it for tracking, you can use it to measure. So it's not specifically all for, and there's actually quality control in this. So this is going to be the top 8 tools I would suggest for using for websites and marketing. And I have to say that the more you add tools, the more you get to save time and resources on certain things because we'll go through them. We'll go through them, but I think this is going to be a good one because I've been using some of these tools for a while and I've been using some of these tools a couple months. And if I keep the tool, it means it is vastly useful. And when it's vastly useful, it's worth the dollar amount. And when it's worth the dollar amount, it means like you win. Like that is a winning tool. And then like my goal is to keep adding more tools, spending more money on tools so that means that it is benefiting the business, the marketing, the company, more than it is, hurting. So this will be the top paid apps you can use for marketing and websites. So let's just go ahead and get started. So number one is Asana. So if you haven't heard of Asana, Asana is a project management tool that is basically a bit more of an advanced to-do list. So for this, I when I recommend it to like a company, I recommend it as a CRM, like a very basic customer relationship management, where if a lead comes in via marketing, via SEO or website or word of mouth, it's funny because a lot of times people just keep track of their stuff on their phone, like a text message thread or the email, or the email is their to-do list, and then they have like a billion emails open. And what I have found is if you make, you can get into the specifics of this, so I'm going to keep it like high level. If you make a project in Asana dedicated to a pipeline, anytime you get a new lead, you can write in lead one. And then in that task is what it's called. You can put in the description of that task, Caesar Gill called, he's interested in a website. I have followed up. I have texted him back. And you can keep track of what you're doing with that lead, and you can refer back to it. So if you had a phone call and you conversated with them and you took notes, put it in this task, and that way next time when you follow up and when you reconnect again, you know a good amount of what it was that you guys spoke about. So you don't, you're keeping track of what it is you're solving for the customer, whether it's for marketing or a marketing company, or it's for, a local service. So if you're a lawyer, a doctor, and there's a lot of a roofing company, auto mechanic. There's a lot of services out there that do this for you, like a lot of software, and a lot of people do use it. But there's also a lot of people that they just kind of make their inbox their to do, and you just miss out a lot of stuff. And the biggest thing about this tool is that you can set a time, right? So like let's say a lead comes in and they say, hey, you talk to them and you say, hey, I really like this. I'd be ready to move forward next Friday. So what you do is you set the task to next Friday, and next Friday it'll pop up in your to-do list. And then when you're just going down the line of things to do, you'll be able to say, oh, let me call Joe Schmo. I don't like that name. Let me call Cougar Kenny, because we, University of Houston flag up there, the Houston Cougars. Let me call Cougar Kenny and follow up, or let me text him, or whatever the process is. This will help you stay organized and not get lost. And honestly, like just not be organization and like being reliable and calling someone when you say you're going to call them, following up somebody when you follow them, keeping track of a relationship with a customer. It's like, that's just good practice. Like that, you should have notes like, hey, this guy seemed kind of crazy, maybe we shouldn't, even if they give us the project or the lead or the business, like maybe we shouldn't because of this. He came off very aggressive, and it might be a very aggressive customer that honestly we'd rather not have. And so that would be my main suggestion to use Asana for, but it has like billions, literally, maybe not literally, but it has billions of other usages. So like You could just use it as a to-do list. Keep tracks of what you have to do. You can use it as a social media calendar. You can use it as a regular calendar. You can use it to do project management. You can use it between teams, so you can add users. So this, I mean, if it wasn't for Asana, I definitely would not be where I give so much credit to how you can organize your life with Asana, both business and personal, that you can remove a lot of the thinking that you have to do. You put you put your thoughts into task, and then you let them come to you, and you put them back. So like you can keep your head clear because all you have to worry about is checking Asana. Okay, and this is probably, if I had a tracker on this computer, this is the most used tool, software, app that I'm pretty sure I use. It's on my phone, it's on my computer, it's on my iPad. I got to use this. And just one more example on this, like I've had it happen multiple times where if I don't check my Asana and I check it late in the day, or I just miss a day of checking it, I'll miss something. Like the other day, I was supposed to go to court when I got back from being out of town, and I checked my Asana like after I worked out, not when I got back. I waited like a whole day to get to the office. And if I would have just glanced at it, I would have seen, oh, Tuesday at 9 a.m. I have to be at this court. It's nothing serious. I got it taken care of. And so when I finally did get in and looked at it, it was 9 a.m. that I saw that task, and I had to be there at 9 a.m. So I actually made it like at the nick of time. I was late, but I did make it. And so it's super important. And like it will, I feel like it's a superpower if you can be organized and like literally never forget anything. Be extremely reliable. Asana, $26 a month. I think it's actually $13 per user, but you have to get 2 seats. You know, whatever, it is what it is. But it's 100% worth it. Like, and then as you add users, it changes. But I definitely would give a shot. They have a free version of it, but it limits you to like the projects or the amount of. I'm not sure what the limit is. I've been paying it for years. But yeah, number one recommendation, Asana. These aren't in order, by the way. Okay, number one is, but the rest aren't really in order. Number 2 is WP Engine as your hosting. So this is going to get kind of specific if you have a website. So this is specifically if you have a WordPress website. So you can have a Squarespace website, you can have a Wix website, you can have a Magento website, but if you do, you're probably in a different area. You can have a GoDaddy designed website, and there's a lot of like quick builders. But specifically, this only applies to WordPress websites, because I'll tell you why. So if you don't know what hosting is, basically think about like the files for your website, like what's physically on there, how it's coded, how it functions. They exist. Like they are a physical thing somewhere. It's not like the internet is made out of literally nothing. There's physical places that store information, kind of like your phone, right? Like your phone, it has information in it. Like this is where it lives, unless you put it on the cloud and stuff. But then it lives on the cloud, which is just storage somewhere else. It's not actually a cloud. And so hosting is me taking this content and putting it into storage, and that storage is the hosting. That's where your website files actually live. And for most people, you're not going to have a dedicated server, meaning you're not going to go out and build the infrastructure to host your website. That's just like overkill beyond overkill. That's like building your own car. Like, I mean, yes, you could build your own car, but just go buy one that you like from a brand that you like. So most of the time, in my experience, most people use GoDaddy, Bluehost, and those are really the main ones. This is for hosting. You can also get domains with these people, but domain doesn't really matter as much because it's pretty much the same price and it's not that big of a deal. I say keep it all under one umbrella if you can. Like just pick one, like use GoDaddy, keep all your domains there. Or use, I think there's like fast domain, there's cheap domains, there's domain names, instant domain. There's like literally a million of them. So just choose one and keep all of them in there, and then you can use your whatever hosting you'd like. Sometimes you can combine the hosting and the domains to be in the same place, but I don't think it's a big deal to do that. But I've heard people kind of say like that's too dangerous. Like if you lost your hosting, then you'd lose your domains. I think that's not true, but that's the consensus I've gotten over time. But anyways, okay. So with GoDaddy and Bluehost, they're pretty much, if you're going to get those, you're getting kind of like, how do I say this? You're getting the affordable commercial option. Like it's going to be good. It'll work, but it's kind of, usually it's the bare minimum. They have plans that you can get that are good, but if you're there, you're not using for that most of the time. Or you do upgrade to that, but it ends up being, it costs quite a bit. So like for GoDaddy, to get an SSL certificate, unless they've changed it, it's like $120. And then they have levels, like this one's more secure than this one, and this one's more secure than that one. So you can spend 70, 120, 220 if you have a business e-commerce SSL certificate, which I don't even know, right? Like how legit is that? I actually don't know. So those things can end up costing. Bluehost is like super affordable, and their support I think is better than GoDaddy. I can always find them; they're always helpful. But it's kind of, I think it's on the cheaper side. I want to say like it's Bluehost is like the cheapest. Like you'll pay like $40 a year to host your website, and it's decent, but that's like a get started platform. If you just want to get started, use that. GoDaddy a little bit better. It definitely costs more, and it's also kind of get started though. When you are ready to take it to the level you want to get to, okay, you use something called, what I recommend is WP Engine. And WP Engine is a WordPress specific hosting platform that is like the Ferrari of hosting plans. And so this one is $55 a month. So compare, let's call it $100 for hosting on Bluehost and GoDaddy. It's not that. Usually you'll pay like $40 to $70. But let's just say for, let's say there's other costs like add-ons that you get. Let's say it's $100 a month. So WP Engine is, if you're paying $100 once, what's 55 times 10? That's 550 times 2. That's 110. So that's 600 and something dollars. Let's call it 700. So you're paying like 7 times the amount for WP Engine than you are for GoDaddy. But here is where it gets interesting. WP Engine is built for WordPress. So if you're serious about your website, you're serious about how it performs, and you're serious about, hey, when users go on my site, I want it to load the fastest. I want it to be super secure. I want it to, those two things, you get this because you're providing you're providing like a super good website product to the people who visit your website 24/7, and there's going to be no hiccups, okay? And now, if there is a hiccup, here's the best part about WP Engine and why you should pay $55 a month. And that's just start plan, by the way. Like, yeah, I think I don't know, we have like irrelevant. The reason you want to play for WP Engine is because if anything were ever to go wrong, if you update a plugin, if you add some pictures, if you change your website and decide, oh my goodness, I messed it all up. If you're just like, dang, I really liked it how I had it 15 days ago, or I really like it how I had it back in October of 2020, you can go to WP Engine. You can find the date of the restore that you want, and you can just revert back to how it was on that specific date, because there's daily backups of your website with WP Engine, and that again in itself is like your error free. If you have people working on us, like we manage people's websites with WP Engine, and if they break the site, if there's a new update that doesn't work with their theme and it goes down, it's literally log in, update, done. It's back to how it previously was, and you can fix the error. You can. It's like being able to jump off a cliff and knowing you're gonna get caught, like knowing that you have a parachute on your back and you can jump from 10 feet, 20 feet, 100 feet, 1,000 feet. You have a parachute, like you're good, just jump. So that's what WP Engine is. It's super fast. It's specific to WordPress. It has the daily backups, which is the biggest sell point for me. And also, they give free SSL certificates. So if you're paying, 70, 120, 220 on GoDaddy, well, hey, you don't pay that on WP Engine. And so that is the number one referred hosting that I always, like, some people want to host with us. Never mind, that's marketing talk. Like for us, that doesn't matter. So yeah, WP Engine, super good. I highly recommend it. It's worth it if you're serious about making your website pristine. Like really good. Like, you want the best tires on your car. You want the good trim. You want the best gasoline. Like that is that. If you're just trying to, just have a vehicle that, not that you drive, that other people drive. I think that's what you got to think about, or you have to keep in mind. Is like it's not for the person who has the website. It's for the person visiting the website. So you want people to go to something nice. That's how I look at it. Okay, so And again, that one's $55 a month. If you're doing like e-commerce, probably like 75. And then like anything else, you can, that's just the starting point. You can upgrade as you go. Next, we have CallRail. So if you haven't heard of CallRail is how you can track phone calls that come really from anywhere. So we use it for Google Ads and Facebook ads specifically. So let's say there's an ad, somebody clicks on the ad, someone goes to the website, the phone number, instead of it being your actual business line, it'll use a forwarding number that it replaces it with. And then when the person calls that number, it forwards the call to your main business line. And so what that allows us to do is allows us to know how many calls came in because of the campaign, or because they came through the website, or because they came through SEO. It can gauge where it's coming from. If you wanted to put one on your Google profile, you can do that. Like you can create literally 10 phone numbers if you wanted, 15, 20, doesn't matter. That's overkill, but let's say 5 phone numbers. You can have one on your business card. You can have one on your Google Ads. You can have one on your website. You can have one on your, I don't know, magazine. You know, you could do that. So you can gauge the effectiveness of that channel of communication. So, you know, at the end of the month, let's say 30 days pass and you look at your CallRail and you say, okay, I had 20 calls from Google Ads. I had 10 calls from my business cards. That would be crazy. I had 3 calls from this magazine. Okay, we spent $3,000 on that magazine. We spent $1,000 on Google Ads. Let's just move the $3,000 on the magazine to the $1,000 on the Google Ads, because we get more calls and customers from that. That's just an example. I'm not trying to be biased, but I am. With the magazine Google Ads versus right there. But another thing about this is, like, yes, you get to measure how many calls came in, but it gives you more information. So it actually records the call if you give it permission to, and you can go in there and listen to the call, and you can mark it as a lead or not a lead. So you can say, out of those 20 Google Ads calls, 10 of those people were actually interested and came in to our, what example do you use? We went out to do a roofing estimate for them, or we went out there and did a showing for real estate for them. Let's go with that one. I don't really give too much love to real estate, because I don't think we need a real estate customer. So you can say, okay, these 10 people called. With these 5 people, we actually did showings, and 2 of these sold. So now you know that from Google Ads, 20 leads, 10 verified, 2 or 3 sold. I forgot what I said. 3 sold. And then you can say, you can decide what to do next off of that. So was it worth it? Do we keep it going? Do we raise our budgets? Are we all good? Like, now we know. If you're a business owner or a manager, you can listen to the quality of the call. So you can hear, like, hey, so in dental, this experience has happened like a lot, where like the dentist will say, hey, why aren't we getting leads? And then we look at the marketing, and it says, hey, well, actually it shows that we had 10 leads in 14 days, which is not bad in your situation because X, Y, and Z. And then we listen to the calls, and it turns out the receptionist or the front desk person is like, hey, can we call you back? Or, hey, sure, no, not. Like, they what I'm trying to portray is they don't do a good job of scheduling the customer. So maybe the person who calls will say, hey, do you have anything for Thursday at 11 a.m.? The business front desk person would say, sorry, no, we don't. And bye, right? Like, instead of offering, no, we don't, but we have Tuesday of next week available 9 through 12. Does that work for you? So doing stuff like that really help. Listening to that and understanding, there's actually more potential with all these leads. It's super helpful, not only to know what's happening, like how many calls are coming in, but also to improve how your calls are going. It's a big deal. I think like people who end up getting this really like it, because you can gauge, so it's not the marketing, or sometimes it is the marketing. So yeah, I really, really recommend that one. For that one, I think it's $40 a month now, and you only get 5 numbers. Back in the day, you could buy, it was $30, but they gave you 10 numbers, like 500 minutes or something like that. It's really, the more these apps grow, or these softwares grow, like the less you get and the more it costs over time. It's only natural. Okay, so number 4, SEMrush. SEMrush is a tool which lets you gauge your search engine optimization for your website. But it also has that's kind of like what it's really for. No, it's not, because it's called SEM Rush. It's actually for Google Ads. I use it for SEO to find out where in the market do we fit, what is the competitiveness of keywords, where can we improve on our technical SEO, things like that. What is our position of our keyword list that we made? We're position 1, we went down, we went up. You can keep track of all that. So that's really good for SEO, which I don't want to get too into because it's pretty technical stuff. But if you run Google Ads, I definitely recommend SEMrush even more, because the speed at which you can do research, find competitive keywords, build list, look at competitors is like lightning fast. So what used to take me, let's call it 4 hours, it will now take me 1 hour, because instead of me physically going to Google and doing the research, copying it, putting on a doc, a Word doc, or what's it called, Google Sheet, Google Doc. Instead of me doing all that, I can just almost not instantly, but I can very quickly know where to find it and do research. And the way it lays it out, it like, so if I put, if I put dental office near me, I'm tired of doing dentist. Let's do, no, let's not do that. Can't think of a good one here. Just a quick, let's just do the dental. So dental office near me, it will give me a lot of, it'll give me that keyword, where, how much it costs, what the competitive level is, and then it'll give me like as many relevant alternatives and other ideas for that same keyword. So it'll spit out like dental Houston, dental office, implants. It'll keep me in the same relevancy, but expand on it, so I don't have to think. It thinks for me. And so we'll do that one quick. That one is $130 a month, and I think this one you might not. You only need this one if you're constantly really trying to find out what these keywords are. If you're really trying to rank on your website and you want to stay on top of it, I would recommend it, but it is more advanced. Like, this is it for speed. This is for you can still get the same result for free just doing your own research, but time is money. Okay, so number 5 is Elementor/WordPress. So this is back to another website one, and this was pretty simple. So if you use WordPress, which, if you don't know, WordPress is a website building platform that's completely free, and the competitors for that are Wix, Squarespace. I want to say those are the biggest ones. Drag and drop type platforms to build websites. And Elementor is a paid one that I think is $50 for a single license. We got like the one with like 1,000 licenses, so so for a single license, I think it's like $50, and basically it works in tandem with WordPress. So WordPress is the platform, and Elementor is kind of like the overlay on it, so that you can build a site. And it is like, I've built websites since like 2012, let's call it. And that was hard. Like, that was HTML Dreamweaver stuff. Like, okay, to make a box, it's like, oh my goodness, that in itself was tough. And to make it, pages, is like, oh my God. With Elementor, it's way easier. It's super easy. They have a bunch of different templates. You can copy templates from one website to another. You can create headers and footers. And it's drag and drop. So it's kind of like Squarespace, Wix, except a little bit. It lets you do more, in my opinion. It lets you be. So the problem with Squarespace and Wix is that it's easy to use, but you can't really customize it. And with WordPress, it's not as easy to use, but you can do anything you want. So that's kind of like the give and take on that. And Elementor, if you're willing to learn it, is by far, in my opinion, the best route to go for local services. If you're going e-commerce, then okay, Elementor is still good, but you have to use something like WooCommerce on it, or if you're bigger, you got to use something like Magento. So it depends, but Elementor, if you're looking for which way should I take my website, go the WordPress/Elementor route. It's going to cost a little bit more, but again, it's worth it over time, because as you grow and you want to put plugins in, it will be able to handle it. Whereas if you go the other route, it might not. We have like 5 minutes left, so let me go real quick with these last ones. So the 6th one is Schema Pro. Schema Pro is So Google asks you to do something called markup, the schema markup, so that Google knows, oh, this website is about a restaurant, and the restaurant sells barbecue, and the restaurant is located in Houston, Texas, and their hours are 9 to 5 every day, and their phone number is 281-536 blah 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 blah. And so basically all Schema Pro is that you're buying this plugin that tells Google this is exactly what you are. Google, you don't have to guess. We're telling you right here and there, right here and then that this is what we do. Google reads it and says, "Oh, they actually set this up for us and made it really easy for Google to read." And that's it. Like it's a simple tool that you can use for 10 minutes. Okay, that's overkill. Let's say 30 minutes to set up, and it because a lot of other websites don't do this. This is another website one, my bad. Because other websites don't do this, you instantly get an advantage when you use something like Schema Pro. Only thing is, I think it's like $50 for a license. Because we do this, like, for other companies, we have like the big license that gives us like whatever 100 installs or whatever. But it's good if you're serious about your website and you really want to rank for certain things, and you want a reason to stand out from your competitors, just get Schema Pro. And Schema Pro is the brand name. So the actual process is called schema markup or something like that. It doesn't matter. Just get it, install it. It'll help your rankings. All right, number 7 is FreshBooks. So FreshBooks is actually like an invoicing system, and sometimes people will ask me like, "Hey, how do you collect payments?" And I'm like, because the way I send invoices to people and they pay it, and it's really nice. It's really easy. They can go back. They can log in. They can update their credit card. They can change their credit card. It's like a very simple, easy way to manage payments, not only for the company but also for customers that use the company. And so I've often gotten like, "Hey, what is that? Like, can we use that?" I was like, "If you want." I mean, there's tons of different softwares out there that do this. They do take 2% of or whatever it is, 1.9 or 1 point of the processing, but it makes it super easy. So instead of like chasing people down or going to pick up checks, like that's what this does for us. And some of my customers have used it. They're like, "Hey, this is really cool." Or instead of using like Zelle or Venmo, and they use a little bit nicer platform, or even just for the invoicing, like it's good if you're looking for invoicing where you can give receipts and all that and keep track of payments collected in March or whatever. FreshBooks is my recommendation. And lastly, the last paid app. Oh, FreshBooks it starts off like $12 as a free trial, $12.50. Then after the free trial goes to $25, and then once you reach like 20 clients or 100 clients, it goes to $50. And then if you want to add on the payment option where you can update credit cards and all that on your side instead of the client side, it's $70. So like the plan is to but the idea is to want to pay more, because that means you're using it, you need it. So that's great for us. And lastly, 2 minutes left, is Jasper.ai. So if you haven't heard of Jasper, think about it like whenever you look for content, like written copy, you want to find stuff, you want to look for ideas. And so usually people go to like Instagram, Facebook, or they Google ideas for social media posts. And then you look and then you make your own. All of this is just about saving time. With Jasper, you go and you say, "Hey, I want a post about these sunglasses." So you put, "Sunglasses are great because they are eye protectors," and then the Jasper program will read that and give you a better version of that, or it will expand on that, or give you a different variation of that. And so it's very easy to come up with content, and then you just fix it. So it's a brainstorming tool, in my opinion, and you just skip the process of like, "Okay, what do I say?" And instead of like thinking, you make it think for you, and then you fix it. So again, this is about putting your brain into these apps or softwares, and trying to be efficient with time and money and resources, and make it all work better. So that is the top 8 paid apps you can use for websites and marketing. Thanks for tuning in. Catch you guys later. If you have any questions, contact Caesar at symphonyadvertising.com. Peace.